From their mysterious origins in the past to what they're planning in the future, here are 11 things you need to know about the Templars.
Hey guys, this is American Eye, bringing you another great video.
Number 11. Origins of the Knight Templar. The Knights Templar were formed in France, and it was a secret society of elite knights and monks during the Crusades. They pledged to commit their lives to a secret code after conquering the Holy Land of modern-day Israel. The religious warriors formed in 1114 and were a fighting force to reckon with. The Knights possibly excavated under the Temple of Solomon and could have uncovered secret artifacts that were kept hidden in secret. The Templars rose in wealth and power, controlling much of the land in the process. They made it easier for pilgrims to travel from Western Europe by providing protection and creating banks. After a while, even the King of France, King Philip, found himself in debt to the powerful group, and on Friday the 13th, October 1307, sent mercenaries to go hunt them. These were on false accusations of heresy. But was this the end of the Templars? Throughout the video, we'll explain where they went, what they left behind, and if they're still around, possibly in modern times. Number 10. Wealth of the Knights Templar. Some believe that it was actually the Knights Templar who gained possession of the Ark of the Covenant while they were crusading in the Middle East. They gathered immense riches from their journeys to the Holy Land, but the plunder they came across and brought back with them still remains a mystery. Some believe their most powerful possession they gained was advanced knowledge in masonry, and we see a huge advancement in things such as cathedrals during this time. Although the Knights swore a life of modest living, their practices in banking certainly gained them an immense amount of wealth. They were originally created to protect pilgrims' assets as they would travel through the Holy Land. When these travelers arrived to Jerusalem, the pilgrims were reimbursed with gold or valuable items upon arrival. This minimized the risk of marauding Saracens taking all their belongings during a huge voyage. The people of Europe loved them so much that large amounts of land and money were also donated. Number 9. The Holy Grail. Discovering the Holy Grail would be like the Holy Grail of all discoveries. This was another religious artifact that was very important to them. Some claim that the Blessed Cup has magical powers to whoever can find it, while others believe the Templars have it hidden somewhere deep within their mysterious confines. They got their name from Temple of Solomon, where supposedly, according to the Templars, they actually found it during the Crusades. The quest for this item was mentioned by Chrétien de Troyes during the work known as Percival. Could this poet, living in a region of France where the Templars are from, know something about the real Holy Grail? Number 8. The survival of persecution. As the Pope and the King of France put an immense amount of pressure on the Catholic countries to arrest the Templars, many had already vanished, and it seemed too late. While there's some debate on exactly where they went afterwards, it would appear as though they set up their own country. The Templars would construct castles in Spain and aided in the Reconquista, making them welcome by King Denis of Portugal. It was during this time a huge chunk of Spain was conquered and declared as Portugal. It would turn out that this king was actually given an education by the Templars, who escaped, which certainly made him sympathetic to their cause. In order to avoid scrutiny from Catholics in this area, they changed their names to the Order of Christ and seemingly lurk in the shadows pulling strings. Number 7. The Shropshire Caves. Although the Knights seem to have captured themselves a big chunk of land with Portugal, they weren't restricted to just one place. Also known as the Cainton Caves, this cave system in the United Kingdom was a place for Druids to continue practicing their faith without being persecuted. Later on, it became a meeting grounds for the Knights Templar who would make their way across the English Channel into Shropshire. They literally went underground in many cases for various reasons, with many vast tunnel networks like this. The Templar tunnel systems have also been found in France and in their former capital of Acre. These tunnels showcase their remarkable engineering talents and how important it was for them to stay hidden from their enemies. Number 6. Templars Assassins Contact. The Hashashin were a group of mysterious Muslim assassins during the 13th century AD. Did you notice that Hashashin sort of sounds like assassin? Well, that's where the modern day word comes from. The Templars made contact with the secret society during the Crusades, who were said to hold on to secrets from ancient Egyptians and other civilizations in the area. During this time, it was forbidden for them to study certain topics, so they needed to remain secret. It's believed that the Templars would learn some of this forbidden knowledge, which led to their increase in power. The assassins were a group of highly trained hitmen who would only kill when the time was right. The ideology between the two groups were basically the opposite in many ways, with the Templars believing in total control of people and the assassins believing in free will. They established strongholds in present-day Iran, Syria, and Lebanon under one of their leaders, Hassan Sabah. In order to make some extra money, they didn't mind occasionally working with Christians like Richard the Lionheart. The Mongol invasion put an end to them, but you have to wonder if they're still out there somewhere. Number 5. Tagus River Castles. When the Templars made it to Portugal, they made their presence known by constructing this remarkable castle, which many would consider impregnable. Considered to be one of the finest examples of Templar engineering, this castle is a part of the Templar defense network, which oversees the strategic Tagus River. Not only is the castle on a steep hillside, getting up there requires getting past cacti. The castle sits about 59 feet above the water, and you can imagine it would be a hard boat to get through without the Templars knowing about it. It was originally a crude residence to Portuguese nobility, but the Templars transformed it into an imposing castle during the Reconquista. There really seems to be no way to put a proper siege on this building without it putting up a good fight. Could they have possibly hidden some treasure over here? This is just one of many Templar castles constructed in Portugal. Others include the one in Tomar and in Monsanto. Number 4. Into the New World. As we mentioned before, the Order of Christ was the name they used post-expulsion from Europe. The Templars sought to control more land and evade hostile territory. In order to do that, they need to explore a little bit better. If you take a look at some very notable Portuguese explorers, we'll also notice that they're a part of the Order of Christ. This includes names such as Henry the Navigator, Vasco da Gama, Ferdinand Magellan, Bartholomew Dias, and so on. Some claim that Christopher Columbus was actually a spy from the Spanish who stole documents from the Templars, which revealed their plan of sailing to America. Henry the Navigator, who was also Grand Master of the group, explored off the coast of Africa and also into India during his voyages. They certainly had ships far ahead of their time. Templar crosses were prominently displayed on sails of these massive ships exploring the seven seas. The Portuguese would set up colonies in Brazil and Africa and become an empire and an economic power in the process. Ferdinand Magellan became the first person to circumnavigate the world, and great accomplishments were made. They also tended to use some tactics that were seen in the Crusades, strangely enough. As you sift through members of the Order, you'll notice there were a lot of famous explorers. Number 3. The Occult. King Philip of France probably had a good reason to be a little bit afraid of the Templars, because they were actually worshipping an idol known as Baphomet, who looks pretty creepy, or at least that's what he claims. It's said to have the head of a cat, sometimes a goat, but typically with a human body with wings and horns. While some will argue that King Philip made up all this because he won the Templars out, it does appear as though it resembles some modern-day cult, maybe even some heavy metal rock albums. The Templars didn't necessarily worship it, but revered it as something they had in their ceremonies after the Crusades. Reoccurring ancient themes, especially from the Middle East, have been a part of their symbolism, as well as other secret societies. Are they referring to some ancient secret knowledge? Number 2. Skull and Crossbones. The skull and crossbones symbol is often associated with pirates and for the afterlife, but it was also used by the Templars to identify boats from their fleet during the medieval times. We also shouldn't be quick to forget about the secret society at Yale known as the Skull and Bones Society. This secret society began in 1832 with General William Huntington Russell and Alfonso Taft as the founder. The members of the society are commonly referred to as the Bonesmen, and their main facility is referred to as the Tomb. Similar to the underground meetings of the medieval Templars, everything here is done in dark under secrecy. Some would argue this is a sect of Templar knights who are set on world domination. Could the Templars still be calling the shots and setting up shadow governments across the world? With their vast amounts of fortune they've amassed throughout the ages, could they be using this wealth for corruption? And number 1, where else are they? It's rather clear that the knights were able to spread and escape from France and acquire power in other places around the world. Could they still be operating in secrecy? It's still theorized that the Templars made it to Switzerland and set up the region with prominent banks. Possibly the Templars are descendants or current members and are still operating in full effect there. They could have become our presidents as a big CEO or the head of the CIA. Who knows? One group out there, known as the Bilderberg Group, has an annual conference in the Netherlands with only the most powerful people around the world getting invited. The chairmen are extremely wealthy Europeans from the Netherlands, the UK, France, and Belgium, often carrying titles such as Baron, Count, or Prince. People invited might be the President of France or other big politicians. Many have criticized the exact reason why they're all meeting up, but world dominance is often speculated. Castro once claimed that the Bilderberg Group is nothing less than a sinister group that tries to manipulate the public, but he's just a communist, so who knows? Journalists have been known to be detained by trying to find out what's going on in there, and we may never find out exactly what goes on during their meetings. It's invite only, and American Eye is still waiting for his invitation. Could these be the modern-day Templars in disguise? Let us know what you think in the comment section.